All right, ladies and gentlemen, rugby fans from around the world, welcome to the beautiful Grand Canyon campus in Phoenix, Arizona. Today's match features the Grand Canyon Lopes against the Utah State University Aggies in the inaugural semifinal match of the 2025 Challenger Cup. The winner of today's match will take on the winner of Ohio State versus Mary Washington the weekend of May 3rd as the curtain raiser for the D1A Championship. Today's production is brought to you by Varsity Sports Show. In the booth with me today is Jesse Davis. Both the D1A semifinal matches, which is the playoffs, faces Lindenwood against Life at Life and St. Mary's College against Cal Berkeley in Berkeley today. Both should be great matches, Jesse.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here, Brent, and it's a pleasure calling this game with you. And like you mentioned, first year of the Challengers Cup, I think this is a great opportunity for these young men to show their skills on a stage like this. We talk about coming towards the end of the season and just really exciting for these guys to be out here and have a chance to go to the finals.
Yeah, so it really pits. There was six teams in the Challenger Cup. There was three from the East, three from the West. Um, Obviously, the West is now crescendoed up to the semifinals with Utah State at GCU, and again, Ohio State plays Mary Washington today separately. Um, but it gives two things. It gives exposure to both programs for recruiting purposes for both of the coaches, as well as you get to play against teams you normally don't play against. I mean, for the winner of this team to play against somebody, obviously the recognition of Ohio State's known. Mary Washington does have a very solid rugby program. So really good stuff here. We got a beautiful day here in the Valley of the Sun. Got a little bit of rain last night. The playing conditions are perfect today. Probably 65. We'll go up to 70 degrees.
And yeah, for this match, we have GCU's ranked number 20, Utah State ranked number 21, and some key stats. Utah State is averaging 28.7 points offensively, 32.2 defensively. GCU's 39.9 for both offense and defense points. And some key players, we have Ben Saunders for GCU, leads the team with 6 tries and 15 two-point conversions. And then for Utah State, Franco Telechea leads the team with 6 tries for them. And this is, like you mentioned, Brent, just really a great demonstration of some quality rugby. And for GCU, they're looking to sweep all Utah teams as they played and they won against the University of Utah 45 to 18 on March 1st, and they also beat Utah Valley 87 to 0. Actually, the last call that we had on March 22nd. So this is just an amazing opportunity for both these teams.
Yeah, it should be two evenly matched films. I do coach at GCU, and I've got some. We did watch some video on Utah State. Very well coached team, very high quality players. GCU for is in the purple and white trim and the hoops with the purple and white socks. Utah Valley is in the darker blue, white stripes with darker blue shorts.
And GCU comes in with a record of 4-4. Utah Valley at 6-4. And really, these two teams are really young. Utah State has only 2 seniors on the team. GCU as well, only 2 seniors and 2 graduate players. So we have a lot of freshmen and sophomores and juniors today. Brent, how does it fare well for those players getting this experience at this point in the season?
I mean, I just looked at the scorecard. I played a lot of years of rugby. Just the fact that GCU's 9-10, 9 Vance Disney and 10 Aiden Cassinon are playing D1A rugby as freshmen and starting is a pretty phenomenal stat. Also looking at Utah State's, their number nine's a freshman as well. Calvin Wilson, scrum half out of Taiwan. There is some international players on the pitch today. Uh, we do have a Mutsumi Otaka from Yokosuka, Japan. There's also looking at Utah State. There's a British Columbia player, Sam Albertson, and obviously I mentioned Calvin Wilson from Taipei, Taiwan. One other international player, if you will, is number 8, Vince McKeefery from Leicester City, United Kingdom.
Yeah, it's really cool to see the international impact with lots of players from different countries. And, for these two clubs, GCU and Utah State, they both were 3-5 last season. Really cool to see how they've been able to turn their programs around. And for the series streak for this matchup, this is the first time that these two teams have ever met. And it should be a really good matchup.
Yeah, the GCU, not being trying to be very neutral here, but GCU does play St. Mary's and Cal every year, and it's a great match to have to play players of that teams of that caliber. And again, Cal faces off with St. Mary's today in the West semifinal to take on the winner of Lindenwood and Life. Cal just beat University of Arizona in Cal Berkeley to give them the rights to take on St. Mary's College. That is probably one of the most historic rivalries within college D1A rugby. So we'll pause for the national anthem.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tyler from Arizona State University, reporting on behalf of Varsity Sports Show, and I'm here with Utah State head coach Matt Tualamalii. And now you're going into this game with a 6-4 record, going up against GCU, who has a 4-4 record. What are you looking to do and looking to stop from their defense?
From their defense, we know they've
And you talk about, chemistry is also huge to you. Of course, GCU has a strong chemistry-built team, and you do as well. How is chemistry going to play a role into this game?
it's going to play a role.
And what did you help your team? What did you do with your team via this long stretch going into this game? What's something that you worked on with your team? Matt, going against you with you statement. Thank you. Good luck in this Challenger West Cup final.
All right, thank you.
No problem. From Arizona, on behalf of Varsity Sports. Next. Hello, everybody. My name is Tyler Wargo from Arizona State University, reporting on behalf of Varsity Sports Show, and I'm here at Grand Canyon University Rugby head coach Sean O'Leary. Sean O'Leary, it's been a long time since you've been on this field playing a game, and that last game you beat Utah Valley 87-0, and that was March 22nd. In that long stretch, what did you do to prepare your team going into this big match?
Tyler, thanks for having us again, and it doesn't seem like that long for me. It seems like it was just yesterday. It's kind of a strange one because it's been 4 weeks, and it was really too late to schedule games at that stage. So we just had some really difficult training sessions, banged them up a little bit, so replicated, probably more so than a game in some instances. And I feel they're ready. They've done some really extra work. For example, last Saturday over in the volleyball courts, they were doing a speed session in the sand for 45 minutes. I've never seen them work that hard. So we're as ready as we're going to be, and let the chips fall where they may now.
And what are you looking to improvise, both offense and defense, for this team, especially going up against this 6-4 Utah State?
We want to play at 100 miles an hour. We have. I told you this the last day, Tyler. We haven't played our best game yet. It's coming though. I don't know when it's coming, and this is a good side. But our best game is coming. I'd like to see it today, and then we get another 2 weeks to work hard to get again. So yeah, it's all good.
And last question, Bun Saunders, of course, 6 tries, 15 two-point conversions, along with 2 drop goals. How are you looking to use him into this game?
Like we talked before, Tyler, it's not a one-man game. If he started doing things on his own, I'd pull him off the field. So he gets to put the ball down, but it's all the other 14 help him to get it there.
Awesome.
So, awesome, Tyler.
Sean O'Leary, GCU men's rugby head coach, going into this big game against Utah State here, and good luck into this game.
Thanks, Tyler. You're the best. Cheers.
Tyler.
All right, folks, we're back for the kickoff. Again, GCU is in the purple and white hoops, and the Utah State Aggies are in the darker blue with dark blue shorts. We will have 20-minute hydration breaks, water breaks for each team. During that, we'll give you the full rosters. The head coach for Grand Canyon is Sean O'Leary. Assistant coaches, myself, Brent Weber, and Aaron Schramm. The coaches for Utah State are Matt Tuala Malehi and Kenny Tufu'u and Nathan Walker. So we will have a line out to Utah State. Throwing the ball in is Brad Taylor, freshman from Bakersfield, California. They go to the number 2 jumper, number 4, Tucker Macbeth, out of Bozeman, Montana. Nice little break by the Utah State backs, out to number 13, Sam Albertson. I believe that was off number 12, Tavita Fochetti. So Utah State is picking up precious meters, just hitting the fringes here. There will be a knock on. The ball cannot be dropped forward in rugby as a result. We will have a scrum to GCU. It's nice defensive line speed coming up for GCU. I did not get a number on the tackle. I believe it was number 8, Vince McKeefery, but it will be a scrum to GCU.
Yeah, great early stand from GCU.
And Jesse, this is a great attacking position with a scrum center. You got options both left and right. 3 players split on each side. True freshman, Vance Disney, number 9. Okay, it appears we had collapsing the scrum. There's usually a conversation there, but it'll be a full arm penalty. So it'll be penalty to Utah State. And I was watching their kicker. I'll get a number on him. Number 1, Franco Telechea. He was bombing them in from 50, 45 and 50 pretty consistently. Very strong-legged kickers on both teams.
And, that's really important, especially when you get towards your own end, being able to alleviate some of that pressure. It's always really helpful to have a strong leg.
Franco is out of Montevideo, Uruguay. I suspect he grew up playing rugby as a child, and his skill set shows it. Ball is up, and it is through. So we have an early 3 points for Utah State, 3 minutes into the match. Again, Franco Telechea out of Montevideo, Uruguay. Number 1 prop.
And you just talked about distance kicks, and there we go. We got our first one of the game.
Tough penalty against GCU there, and Franco slots it through the uprights. So restarting drop kick is number 13, Luke Neely out of Colorado Springs. Fielded cleanly by Utah State. Right back to Luke, number 13. Ball did go backwards. Ref will play on. Puts a nice high up and under on. Takes a GCU bounce off the foot of Marcus Terzoli. So the ref says play on. So Utah State wins the ruck. Wins the battle at the ruck. Spinning it wide. Nice tackle by GCU after about a 20-meter gain by Utah State. And that will be a high tackle against GCU. So a penalty to Utah State. 2 early penalties against GCU, Jesse.
Yeah, kind of a tough start, but they're in a fine position right now. Obviously, like you mentioned, 2 penalties, not the way you wanted to start, but hey, we've got lots of time. Get the ball back and set up their attack. They haven't really had the ball so far to start.
Okay, so it will be a Utah State line out just inside GCU's 22-meter line. And it is stolen by number 7, Kenny Passion out of Colorado Springs. Nice offload out to the backs to Marcus Terzoli. No wrap tackle. Ref is going to pick up that. That might be a card, Jesse. You have to wrap. You have to attempt a wrap in rugby. There was no wrap attempted.
As we're going to take a short break for a injury timeout.
In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational
the player
organization.
Is back up, Marcus Terzoli. The referee is citing the offending player with a yellow card, so he will be out of the match for 10 minutes. And that looks like it was number 11, Jake Anderson, South Jordan, Utah product. So it'll be player advantage to GCU. GCU 15 players against Utah State 14.
And you mentioned, Brent, that you have to wrap up when you're tackling in rugby, different from, per se, football, and that was not a legal tackle.
No, that was more what you would call a shoulder charge with no attempt. So this is inside center number 12, Ben Saunders for GCU. So the ball it'll be a GCU line out right about 35 meters out from, call it 40 meters out from Utah State's try line. Will be a line out to GCU with Danny Callahan, number 2 from Carrollton, Texas, with a throw in. Nice inside offload from Ben Saunders to Charlie Marshall. Charlie Marshall back up, rumbling forward inside Utah State's 22. Do have players go right. Ben Saunders with the ball. Nice line speed tackle by Utah State. Henry to your right. It's coming back down this way. So GCU does maintain possession just inside the Utah State 22. Out to another true freshman, Aiden Castanon, back over to fullback Jackson Gray. I believe that's the close side wing, working way on the far side of the field, Marcus Terzoli. Out to GCU. And we do have what they call obstruction in rugby. It's more of a block. You cannot block in rugby. And that will be the third penalty against GCU. Very unfortunate, right in front of the Utah State posts.
Yeah, and I want to go back to that turnover there from Passion, collecting it for GCU. It really changed the momentum, and then Utah State took that penalty and got that yellow card. That's a great way to flip the game. You know, creating those turnovers, it really can be what makes a difference.
Okay, so Utah State line out, taken successfully. They're trying to spin it wide. That ball finds, again, Utah State playing a man down. Let me see if I can get a number on the player who just had the carry. Nice line speed tackle by Sean McGilligan on the big penalty kick scorer, Franco Telechea. Utah State does maintain possession. Utah State has some slippery runners today, Jesse. They're finding their way through the
and we have
defense of GCU.
We have a player down for Utah State. The whistle hasn't been blown yet.
The ref will play on unless he deems it too dangerous to continue. Ball's fielded by Ben Saunders over to true freshman Aiden Castanon, Phoenix, Arizona product. Back to Luke Neely, Colorado Springs product. Attempts to find touch, and he does. So that will be a line out to Utah State, but very valuable meters picked up there. A lot of pressure, defensive pressure was taken off with Luke Neely. Number 1, Franco Telechea was the player down. He is back up.
Yeah, nicely done there from Nuke Neely. The big kick.
And that will be a knock-on, a potential intentional knock-on by GCU, and it will be a penalty to Utah State. So several penalties against GCU early in this match. We're just at 9 minutes into the match, folks, and it's 3-0 in favor of Utah State on an early penalty, about a 50-meter penalty by number 1, Franco Telechea.
Yeah, both teams, Brent, so far kind of just feeling each other out, seeing what works best.
Another stolen line out. I believe that was number 5, Dylan Mercer out of Colorado Springs. So straight to the forwards. Will Strandberg, nice tips pass to Kenny Passion. Out to the backs. Just bounce cleanly into Luke Neely's hand. Luke has some space to run. He's got support on the outside. He's got support on the inside as well to Vance Disney. Back to Luke Neely, and it will be a knock-on against Utah State with a penalty right in front of the post to GCU. They tap and go. They attempt to tap and go. Ben Saunders does not go through the mark cleanly. It will be a it'll be a scrum to GCU. So that was a short arm penalty, scrum to GCU. Vance Disney with the put in for GCU. Dead center in front of the post, 10 meters out. Great attacking position for GCU. We have two players stacked directly behind the scrum, Aiden Cassanon and Ben Saunders. That's Vince McKeefery, big Vince McKeefery, Englishman. Takes the ball up just at the 5-meter line. Out to Luke Neely, little backhanded pass to Marcus Terzoli. Marcus is taken into touch, and it will be a line out to Utah State right at the 5-meter line. For after the Luke Neely tried a nifty back behind the back pass, if you will, handled by Marcus Terzoli, but that will work in Utah's favor.
Yeah, GCU trying to open up that Utah State defense, working both the left and the right side.
Okay, so I think we had two knock-ons off that line out. I apologize, folks. I got a post in front of me, but it will be a scrum to GCU at the Utah State 5-meter line. Zoom in. Fill the screen. On two. So Vance Disney with the put in. Vance out of Quetta, Oklahoma. And a nice push on the scrum. They're picking up the meters. It's down. It'll be a try to GCU. I believe that's 8-man. It is 8-man Vince McKeefery. We just mentioned out of Leicester City, UK. True freshman for GCU. So
what a nice job from GCU. Just continuing to drive forward. And you saw just kept going forward until they got the try.
So that puts the score at 5-3 before the conversion in favor of GCU. Yeah, just a beautiful what they call pushover scrum. They won their scrum, and then they just got a good push on, and GCU showed some great patience, just picking up inch by inch until Vince could just literally land on the ball for the 5 points. So we do have Ben Saunders with a angled kick left of the post. Ball is up. He tries to draw it through, just a bit wide right. Score remains 5 GCU to 3 Utah State. Utah State tries to catch GCU napping. The slow return. Luke Neely with the ball out to Ben Saunders, inside center. And it will be a penalty against Utah State. I believe not rolling away. So the tackler has to release the tackled player. They did not. It'll be a penalty to Ben Saunders, and a very timely penalty against Utah State, as Utah State tried to pull a quick one against a quick reset start. And it will, in turn, be about a 40-meter gain on the penalty kick by Ben Saunders, and it'll be a GCU line out just inside Utah State territory.
Penalties for both teams so far. Do you attribute that to nerves kind of right out the bat?
Yeah, some of them are the common penalties. There has not been the same penalty twice, if you will. So it could be some early jitters or just some hard playing. So Ben Saunders finds Luke Neely, who finds Jackson Gray, fullback, out to, I believe that's wing, freshman Brennan Boyle. So GCU is on the attack again. Charlie Marshall finds John McGilligan. Great hands by the big forwards for GCU. And GCU does have does have numbers out left. Nigel Saunders, number 6, picking up meters. Can he find his way in? No, he does stay in bounds, though. That's going to be offsides against Utah State. The ref is playing advantage to GCU. And they're in again. So Nigel Johnson made the nice scamper in the 5-meter channel towards the press box here. They were able to retain possession with the ruck, and Nigel Johnson from Gilbert, Arizona, freshman, also played a lot of rugby in San Diego with the try. My apologies to Ben Saunders' dad, Nigel Saunders, who's also in the crowd today. But that is
And we have a replay for you guys of the try. And the Lopes doing a nice job of spreading the ball around. We've seen that power now as Ben Saunders will attempt another 2-point conversion. Had enough leg the last time he tried the 2-point conversion. Just would like to put it a little bit more in the middle.
Yeah, he does. He does have a nice draw to the ball, and he's going to need it for this angled kick. The ball is up, and it looks, just wide right. I was talking about the draw he had, and he actually faded it a little bit. Looks like my golf shot. But tough one, but score is now 10. Two unconverted tries for GCU, one by Vince McKeefery, one by Nigel Johnson.
Good response here from GCU with Utah State getting that early penalty goal and 10 quick points to respond.
Yeah, great response. GCU's recycling the ball very well, and their offloads are on point today. Utah State a bit slower with the drop kick restart. It does need to find 10, and it does. Taken cleanly, I thought, by Aiden Castanon, but it will be knocked on by the freshman fly half, Aiden Castanon out of Paradise Valley, Arizona. So it will be a scrum to Utah State at about 40 meters out from the GCU try line.
Henry, closer.
So 17 minutes in, roughly just over 16, 17 minutes into the match. GCU 10, Utah State 3. So Utah State scrum again at the GCU 40-meter line. So the centers for Utah, number 12, Tavita Facchetti and Sam Albertson, they have been successful in finding some gaps against the GCU centers and or finding support out wide. GCU has played pretty good defense on the outside, keeping Utah State out of the try zone for now. Big push by the GCU scrum. It'll be a long arm penalty due to GCU. I suspect we will see, left-footed kicker Luke Neely, number 13, outside center. GCU does benefit from a left-footed kicker and a right-footed kicker, depending on the scenario. Again, this is Luke Neely out of Colorado Springs. Big boot. He finds touch. So it will be a GCU line out right at Utah State's 22-meter line.
Really useful to have two kickers with different legs to be able to pinpoint left and right side of the field.
Yep.
Really use it to your advantage.
Nice clean line out taken by Sean McElligott. I think it's the line out should be thrown in straight. It was not, so it's a free kick to Utah State. They tap it. They trap the free kick through. There is pressure. It's played off Ben Saunders' foot. GCU quick to the ruck. Marcus Terzoli somehow kicks that ball away after taking possession for a few meters. Utah State returns the favor, and it's a kick. Aiden Castanon, fly half, takes it cleanly. Ball's out to number 2, Danny Callahan, hooker for GCU. Back into Kenny Passion. Colorado Springs product. Tackle was a bit high. Ref says play on. Another nice offload to Vince McKeefery. Did have Charlie Marshall out to the left. Utah State slow to collect on defense. They ultimately get there. GCU does have numbers out wide. And that will be a hard pass off of Ben Saunders to the Utah State player. The ref is bringing it back to what appears to be an earlier penalty.
As it looks like we have an injury timeout.
It's water break.
Oh, water break.
I think there might be a high tackle against Utah State, but we will let the assistant ref confer with the referee, Ben Cohen.
There is a GCU player down.
Evan, you can zoom in close.
Hopefully he's all right.
Lost your feed. Oh, there it is. Came back. It's back.
And that is number 1, Charlie Marshall, out of Spring Valley, California, San Diego area, grad student. Okay, so it was a penalty against GCU to Utah State. I didn't see what the penalty was with the GCU player down, but it is a penalty to Utah State. Ball does not find touch, taken cleanly by Aiden Castanon, number 10 for GCU. He does find touch. We are approaching the 20-minute hydration break here with the score 10 points to GCU, 3 to Utah State.
And what have you liked so far from GCU's game? Now 20 minutes into this one.
I love the offloading. I love the support play they've got. They've been showing a lot of patience at the rucks, winning their rucks. What I don't like is the number of penalties GCU has had. It's been evenly called though on both sides. Okay, so it will be there was a Utah State knock on.
Get off the court. Get off the field right now. Game's still in play. Game is still in play. Game is still in play. I was saying shoot. I was saying shoot it over there. No.
Okay, so we'll be a scrum to GCU just before the hydration break. We're about 21 minutes in. So we will have Vance Disney, number 9, for GCU with the put in. Ball spun out to the backs. Nice miss pass to pass out to number 13, Luke Neely, missing number 12, Ben Saunders. Cleaned up by Jackson Gray, captain and grad student. Picked up by Marcus Terzoli, number 11. Another San Diego product. Okay, ball is out to number 10, Aiden Casson. He chooses to take it up. Picks up a few meters. GCU is quick to the ruck. Back out to number 5, the hard run, and Dylan Mercer out of Colorado Springs maintains his feet. GCU is inside Utah State territory. They do go to the left side with it. Nice nifty pass by Luke Neely back inside to Jackson Gray and to Ben Saunders, folks. Ben Saunders in for the try. Beautiful ball handling by GCU backs and forwards for that matter.
Wow, what a display of passing there. And that's a really hard thing to do. Being able to go full speed, passing it to your left and to your right.
Just some nifty ball work there. We'll see if we can pick anything up on the replay. Yes, I believe it was a Luke Neely with another behind the back pass.
And that'll be
hitting Jackson Gray on a beautiful line. Finding Ben Saunders on another hard running line, scores below the post. This should be a fairly easy kick for Ben Saunders.
And that'll be Ben Saunders' team leading 7th try of the season as he continues his dominance.
Ball is up and it's good, so add on another 2 points, taking the score to 17 points to favor of GCU with 3 points of Utah State.
When did I say go? No. Okay, hold on.
So we are at the 20-minute hydration break. I believe we're going to go to Sean O'Leary for Coach O'Leary from GCU for a quick interview.
And 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tyler Wogo from Arizona State University with Sean O'Leary. 20 minutes to go here in the first half of the Challengers Cup West final. Now, what have you been seeing? Of course, chemistry has been a huge part in adding this points to the board, 17-3. What have you been seeing currently? any strategies that you're telling your team to keep Utah State on their defense?
Up on the big screen, and he's got all his customers from the Lost Patty in Nashville watching the game. So shout out to you, Mihal. Thanks.
Shout out Nashville, Tennessee, 17-3. Sean O'Leary gonna finish out this first half here, up by 17-3. Tyler Work alongside Sean O'Leary. Good luck finishing out this half.
Tyler, thanks, man. Good job, guys.
All right, folks, we're back from that interview. Thanks a lot. And how do the folks in Nashville at the
Advance it, being able to kick it, and good job from Albertson with a nice hustle play.
Yep. I mean, very, very talented kickers, very technical kicking going on by both sides. That was really well done, and we were inches away from a Utah State try there. So Ben Saunders with a goal line dropout. It does stay in. Does cross the midline, and it'll be a Utah State line out. Again, right back to where we started.
Nice kick there from Saunders. Half the field covered. Good job.
You know, in spite of the score line, again, 24 points in favor of GCU to 3 Utah State. Utah State has shown a lot of creativity today so far, and again have tested the GCU defense deep in their territory. So it will be a penalty to GCU against Utah State. GCU does slow it down a little bit here. I think both teams need to collect. It has been a back and forth possession match here, and we're starting to see some of the tired legs here. It's been a very frantic, very high speed match. So Ben Saunders eyes the touchline. Beautiful kick. It will be a GCU line out, just about 10 meters out from the Utah State goal line, try line.
And we've really seen GCU being able to utilize their speed. It's put Utah State in a tough position as they simply can't keep up on certain plays where the Lopes are able to offload it in space on the outside.
Another uncontested line out to GCU. That was Dylan Mercer, number 5 lock. Now we've got Ben Saunders tries to find a gap, picks up a couple meters just inside the left post, and it'll be a penalty against GCU in favor of Utah State. Utah State chooses a tap and go instead of simply finding touch. Now it will be, instead of a Utah State line out there, it will be a line out to GCU. So maybe a bit ill-advised there. He should have just taken a clean penalty kick. I thought it was a long arm penalty. But instead of a Utah State line out, it's now a GCU line out.
And as far as strategy goes between touch and tap and go, what's more common than that?
Usually when you're inside your 22, you want some sort of an exit kick just to take the defensive pressure off of you. When you have running room, you really want the tap and go, or you have, a lot of teams have set up plays. Nice little break by Aiden Cassanon out to Marcus Terzoli in the hands of true freshman Brennan Boyle for another GCU try.
As that's now the 4th GCU player to score a try here today. The freshman Brennan Boyle from Aurora, Colorado.
Yeah, his dad is the coach at Valor, the Valor program up there, Jim. Hi to Jim. Really nice ball movement by the GCU backs today, very crisp. We will have Ben Saunders attempting a kick from the far side of the field, a little bit of an angle.
Such an asset to have the backs being able to move the ball like they have been.
And they're really supporting in tight quarters, so there's been really good ball handling, not a lot of knock-ons. Ball is up, Ben Saunders, and it's good.
31 straight unanswered points from the Lopes. Head coach Sean O'Leary has to be happy with how his team has played here in the first half.
Yep. So we're 31 minutes in, 9:16 remain in the first half. Again, the score line 31 points in favor of GCU to 3 for Utah State. But Utah State, like I said, has been creative and they've had their opportunities. Unfortunately for Utah State, GCU has responded. Ball's taken cleanly by the busy man, Dylan Mercer, number 5 out of Colorado Springs. Finds Ben Saunders on a little gap, out to Marcus Terzoli with Big Will Stramberg in support. A nice little decision by Vance Stizzy to chip that ball ahead. And the ball was back and forth. I didn't see who it came off of.
I think it went off of Utah State.
Utah State, so it will be Danny Callahan throwing the ball in for GCU, just inside Utah State territory. Another clean line out taken by Dylan Mercer. Dylan recently moving from the centers to the locks, and he seems to be liking the transition. Out to Marcus Terzoli again, the short side wing all the way on the far side. Once again, the combination of Jackson Gray to freshman Brennan Boyle adds another GCU try.
That is Boyle's second try of the day for GCU as they've really started to pour on here in the first half with just under 8 minutes to go. It's now 36-3. Another 2-point conversion looming.
Yeah, long trip down from Logan, Utah for Utah State. Maybe we're starting to see that in the legs. We'll see what Coach Tua Wala Malehi, what adjustments he chooses to make at halftime.
And I want to go back to that try. A great pass from Jackson Gray.
Yeah, the Jackson Gray Brennan Boyle combo has really produced the last 2 tries after the Jackson Gray try. So this is Luke Neely.
So you put it in correctly.
Attempts it from the far side, left-footed kicker, and it is short. So the score remains 36-3 in favor of GCU. Just under 7 minutes remain in the match, folks. You can see the wear and tear start to take shape on Utah State bodies.
And how have you liked GCU's ability to take advantage on that right side? We've now seen 2 or 3 tries in a row that have exploited that same area.
Yeah. What GCU's been very successful with is winning their rucks, taking the ball into contact, recycling it, and then narrowing the Utah State defense, and then spinning it wide where there's a numbers advantage in favor of whether it be a 3-on-2 or a 3-on-1 in favor of GCU on the outside. And Brennan Boyle showing some nice speed and nice support for the freshman out of Aurora. Utah State wins their line out. Big up and under. Fielded cleanly by Aiden Castanon. Over to Ben Saunders behind the 22. Ben returns the favor. It's a bit of a volleyball match right now. Fielded by number 11, Jake Anderson out of South Jordan, Utah. To number 10, Matt Gotham, the fly half. And here's Marcus Terzoli with another quick break. Back into Jackson Gray. Nobody in support. You have a trailing Utah State player. Salem Albertson picks up the ball. This could be trouble for GCU. This is going to be a penalty against number 3, Will Stramberg. Looks like the feet got caught up there. And it will be, again, a penalty at the 22-meter line. Tap and go by number 25, Sam Gathram. The Gathram brothers out of Castle Rock, Colorado on the field together. Nice little chip through for Utah State. Picked up by Sean McGilligan. There are a couple players down in some ball handling, so there was a forward pass against GCU. I believe that was off of Sean McGilligan. Trying to get the ball to Brennan Boyle. It will be a scrum to Utah State. We do have a player down for GCU. That looks like 2 times try score Brennan Boyle.
as we will take a short break and be back with you.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. It's where my wife and I have gone for over 10 years, and we trust them with our routine and extensive dental care because they care. Dr. Amber Angel is an Arizona native, born in the town of Miami, and has been practicing in the Valley over 20 years. For general to comprehensive dental services, call 602-788-2008. Located off of Cave Creek Road just north of the 101 in North Phoenix. Angel Dentistry, proud supporters of our young people and proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show.
All right, folks, we're back. Good news is Marcus Trezzoli, the ever-present and ever-busy wing, number 11 for GCU, was the player down. He's back on his feet. Apologize to the Boyle family. Brendan is alive and well and on the far side on the wing. So it will be a scrum to Utah State, just 5 meters out from GCU territory. We'll see if Utah State can dot one down here.
Right now.
They're heavily flooded to the right towards the press box with one player on the left-hand side. Scrum center, just a great attacking position. May have been an early push against GCU. Tap and go on a GCU penalty to Utah State. Jesse, we're inches away from a Utah State try.
No sign yet.
There's no indication by Ben Cohen, the referee, if the player was able to get the ball down.
Follow the refs.
There will be a little conference between the main referee, Ben Cohen, and the AR.
Center the refs.
As Utah State right on the line.
Evan, can you zoom in any closer?
Okay, so it'll be an offsides call
On one.
against GCU. No, folks, it is a penalty against Utah. The ball appears to have been knocked on in GCU territory. It will be a goal line dropout to GCU. Sorry for the confusion, folks. We're not getting clear calls from the ref. Big boot by Ben Saunders. Out to the midline. We'll see if what Utah State has on the counterattack. Number 2, Brad Taylor, Bakersfield, California product with a tough run up the middle. Finds number 15, Austin Clark, another Rockland, California product. Not releasing the ball, Austin Clark. Therefore, it'll be a penalty to GCU. GCU is going to probably slow it down here and give everybody a quick breather.
Yeah, crucial mistake there from Utah State with the knock-on right on the helm of scoring their first try of the game. And that's really what it's been, is mistakes. We've seen Albertson was really close, and a play goes here, play goes there, and Utah State would be more in this game, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
So the touch finder on the penalty for GCU, Ben Saunders, finds touch. So we'll have a GCU line out in Utah State territory. Again, very clean lineouts to,
Zoom in. You can zoom in.
as I say, clean lineouts. So the ball is not thrown in straight. As a result, it'll be a penalty to Utah State. It will be a scrum to Utah State.
Scrum guys. So zoom in.
And GCU's defensively has just been really dominant today, not allowing Utah State to score a try this far, and even when they get in their own end, it seems like they put up a wall.
Zoom.
Yeah, they were knocking on the door, as they say, inches away from the GCU try line. Unfortunate for Utah State, fortunate for GCU. Okay, another big push by the GCU scrum. They celebrate a bit. Several players are on the ground. I think it would be wise for GCU to take a bit of a break here and collect, as we have a Utah State player down now.
And we are going to take a quick break. We'll be back shortly.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
All right, folks, we're back from a quick break. Number 3, Noah Asai, is being tended to by the trainers. Looks like Noah's back up. Those front row players are tough as nails. A lot of play back and forth there. I think it's a well-deserved rest for both sides. There's less than a minute on the scoreboard, although we have had some injury time. The scoreboard says 55 minutes remain in the match. There's probably a minute or two still left on referee Ben Cohen's watch. So Ben Saunders, again, nice kicking by Ben Saunders today. Picks up about 30 meters on the touch finder. It will be a line out to GCU with Danny Callahan, number 2, on the throw-in. Danny out of Carrollton, Texas. Mom and Dad are in the stadium today. And the ref says we'll try this one more time. There's a clean line out taken by number 5, Dylan Mercer. Nigel Johnson with the off the back pick and go, if you will, number 6. Out to the backs. Nifty little crash ball from Ben Saunders to Luke Neely.
It's still down.
That's prop number 1, Charlie Marshall, tests the left fringe. He does have Dylan Mercer out to Danny Callahan to Dylan Mercer, big number 5, back in. Can GCU maintain possession? Vance Disney jumped on that ball. Number 8, Vince McKeefery. We're testing that right fringe of the ruck. Ball's back in Charlie Marshall's hands. About a meter out, folks. Not releasing the ball. Utah State attempts pass and go. So, Jesse, there's a good opportunity for a tap and go off a penalty. They did see numbers out wide, and they spun it wide. Utah State picks up about 30 meters, maintains possession on their ruck. There's no time on the clock. There's probably a minute or 2 of injury time left.
I'm not going to go to it right away, but just tell them to get it ready.
Hard run by Franco Telechea from Montevideo, Uruguay. Big number 25, Sam Gathram, Castle Rock, Colorado. Utah State tests the fringe again with Tavita Fakeli out of Oakland, California. Utah State somehow maintains possession down there. They're still charging. A lot of go forward in the Utah State team right now. They've got numbers out wide. Nice defense by GCU. GCU's defense is holding on, but Utah State has picked up a good 50, 60 meters here, folks. And they maintain possession from the ruck. Nice hard run by number 5, Liam Toner, out of Bath, United Kingdom. Utah State continues to maintain possession. And it is a poacher, a jackal, if you will, by number 8, Vince McKeefery. Utah State player can't release the ball. It's a penalty to GCU. Luke Neely opts a kick at the touch, and that should be the first half, folks. So the score line currently sits 36 points to GCU against 3 to Utah State. We will take a break for the halftime, and we'll see you on the other side.
Hi, my name is Zano Cadena with the Varsity Sports Show. This week's topic is rugby, and I'm here to give you the breakdown of the historical and cultural significance of the sport from its origins to now. We all know the funny distinction between football here in the States versus other countries. For us, American football refers to the game of tackling and throwing with your hands. For everyone else, football is exactly how it sounds. You play with, well, your feet. But what if I told you this distinction exists because of American football's predecessor? That's where rugby comes in. Rumored to have started back in 1823, a man named William Webb Ellis decided to pick up a soccer ball and run with it. Before you know it, rugby was born. Back in middle school, my English class had put on the film Invictus, starring Matt Damon and Morgan Freeman. The story follows the events in South Africa leading up to the 1995 World Cup. When I saw the gameplay in this movie, I was baffled at how many things were going on at once. Now that I'm more educated on the sport, I can give a breakdown. Think of rugby as all the tackling, rolling, and game stoppage that American football has, except you've got no helmets or pads. Rugby also has an interesting way of dealing with the ball going out of bounds. The teams will line up and try and catch it high in the air with the help of teammates lifting them up. Another way is for the teams to scrum. Both teams group together, pushing against one another in an attempt to retrieve the ball with their feet. As mentioned before, these players have no pads or helmets. That is because once a player is tackled, they have to relinquish that ball immediately. Now, if you've ever been to a sporting event, you usually see the teams high-five each other and say good game. In rugby, it's the same way, except teams will traditionally hang out afterwards. In 1840, the game expanded into where it is now most popular. Starting in Britain, it gained popularity in New Zealand, Australia, and South Africa. New Zealand considers rugby its national sport. Flash forward to 2025, it is now one of the fastest growing sports in America. From Penn State all the way to your own backyard at the University of Arizona, rugby is establishing itself in schools all across the country in both men and women's leagues. What I find so interesting about rugby is how rough and intense the game looks, but at the end of the day, it's about camaraderie. That's all for today. This is Danica Zena with the Varsity Sports Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Arizona Varsity Sports Show. My name is Sebastian Kupas from Arizona State University, and today we're going to be looking at the NBA play-in tournament and the playoffs coming forward. Obviously, with the play-in tournament, we saw the Kings lose to the Mavericks and the Warriors beat the Grizzlies, so we'll have a 10 versus 8 seed battling it out for the last spot in the Western playoffs. And then we saw the Bulls lose to the Heat, and then the Hawks lose to the Magic. So the Heat and Hawks will be battling it out for that last seed in the Eastern playoffs too, for the 8th seed. Looking a bit more specifically in the Western playoffs, though, I think the Rockets and Warriors matchup is very exciting and highly anticipated. The Rockets are a 2 seed, and they're not even favored to win their matchup. They won 4 more games than the 7th seed Warriors, and the Warriors are expected to win. Obviously, the Warriors have Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Steve Kerr, a lot of championship and playoff experience, and they're definitely ready for big moments like this. And the Rockets, most playoff experienced players are like Fred VanVleet, who won a ring with Toronto against the Warriors, surprisingly. And also Steven Adams, who played a lot of good playoff series, especially against the Warriors. Big viral kick moment from Draymond Green to Steven Adams was pretty big. But it's a different series now and a different sort of era, so we'll see how this goes. The Rockets have a lot of young athletic wings that can definitely keep up with the Warriors' high-paced offense, whether that is against Jimmy Butler or Steph Curry. And then the Warriors obviously have a lot of good shooting, a lot of good ball movement, and a lot of good role players coming off the bench, whether it's Buddy Hield, Gary Payton, Quentin Post, Jonathan Kuminga if he gets playing minutes again. But it's very highly anticipated. Both of these teams have come a long way to battle here, and they both expect to make it out of the first round. And it's only 4 wins that separate a very clustered and packed Western Conference. So it'll definitely go 6 or 7 games for sure. The Rockets do have home court advantage if that matters, if it gets to a Game 7. But I expect both arenas in Houston and Oracle out in San Francisco to be very, very lively and very ready for this playoff matchup. Be sure to stick around to the Arizona Varsity Sports Show for all things sports, especially NBA playoffs coming up. My name is Sebastian Kupas from Arizona State University. Thank you for listening.
Hello, everybody. My name is Raymond Moreno from the Varsity Sports Show, reporting from the University of Arizona. And today, I'll be talking about a little bit of the Arizona men's basketball top recruits and the projected starting lineup for next year's roster. Recent additions of top 25 high school recruits, Brandon Barries and Koa Peets, were in the ESPN 100. Both of them were top 15. Projected starting lineup for the University of Arizona, starting at point guard Jalen Bradley, who's expected back for his senior season, who's averaged 12.1 points per game last season. The true freshman shooting guard Brandon Barries, at 6'4", 200 pounds, who averaged 27.2 points the last 2 seasons for Roosevelt High School in Southern California, and is projected to be a first-round pick in next year's NBA draft. True freshman forward Koa Pete, who turned 18 in January, is 6'8", 235 pounds, and led Perry High School to its 4th consecutive Arizona State championship, scoring 20 points in the championship game. Forward Toby Awaka is expected back for his senior season, who is 6'8" and 250 pounds, who averaged 8 points and 7.8 rebounds in just 19.5 minutes per game, who was regarded as one of the best offensive rebounders in the country. And after missing most of the 2024-2025 season with a foot injury, center Montujas Krivas expected to be back in Tucson for his junior season, who was 7'2" from Lithuania, is a gifted passer and will command attention on the low block and open the offense even more for Arizona next season. Sports, my name is Raymond Moreno from the Varsity Sports Show, reporting from the University of Arizona. Thank you. Go Varsity.
From Northern Arizona University, I'm Caitlin Toon, reporting for Varsity Sports Show. The 29th annual WNBA draft was held on Tuesday, and as with all professional sports drafts, it was not without surprises and heartwarming moments. What was not a surprise was UConn's Paige Beckers being drafted first overall to the Dallas Wings. Beckers is set to join four-time WNBA All-Star Arike Ogunbowale in the backcourt in Dallas. Coming off winning their 12th national championship, just a little over a week before the draft, the Huskies sent 3 players in total to the W, with Caitlin Chen and Aubrey Griffin coming up from the audience to grab their jerseys from the commissioner after both being drafted in the 3rd round. Their even late first-round selection after helping TCU reach their first Elite 8 in school history. While her teammate, Haley Van Lith, will be reunited with former LSU teammate Angel Reese in Chicago after being drafted 11th overall by the Chicago Sky. We will find out which college players are able to shine right away in the W and who will need time to develop when the WNBA season kicks off on May 16th. For Varsity Sports Show, I'm Caitlin Toon.
I'm Liz Landon, a sophomore at the University of Florida with Varsity Sports Show. Gainesville is on fire. After 18 long years, the Florida Gators have clinched the NCAA National Championship, and the city is absolutely buzzing. The last time we felt this euphoria was back in 2006 and 2007 when the Gators went back-to-back. Now the chant is back, Gator boys stay hot, and things are definitely exciting. Under Coach Todd Golden, the Gators have a season to remember. With a 36-4 record, they took down giants like number 1 Auburn and Tennessee. Walter Clayton Jr., who once had offers to play college football, chose basketball and became our hero. His clutch plays, especially in the Final Four, earned him the Most Outstanding Player award. The passion in Gainesville was palpable. Fans camped outside the O'Connell Center during the regular season and later outside local eateries, eager to secure spots to witness history unfold on the screens. When the final buzzer sounded, tears flowed and University Avenue transformed into a sea of orange and blue. The Gator boys weren't just champions, they were legends. The celebration wasn't confined to Gainesville. From Boston to Miami, Gator alumni and bands gathered, united by pride and nostalgia. Even the Empire State Building paid homage, illuminating New York's skyline in Gator colors, a testament to the team's nationwide impact. On campus, the players became instant celebrities. Their appearances at local spots like Cantina drew crowds, turning ordinary outings into fan-frenzied events. The Gator boys have become the heart and soul of Gainesville. As the season concludes, the team faces transitions. Key players Will Richard, Walter Clayton Jr., Elijah Martin, and Alex Condon are expected to depart, leaving behind a legacy of excellence. Yet hope remains. Thomas Houck is expected to return, along with Sam Alexis and some of the other players who didn't get as much playing time this season. From Gainesville streets to global landmarks, the Gator Boys have reignited a flame of pride and unity. Their journey reminds us all, once the Gator Boys get hot, they stay hot.
In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
All right, rugby fans, welcome back to the 2025 West Coast Challenger Cup. The winner of this team will go to Indianapolis and face the winner of Ohio State or Mary Washington, which is the East Coast bracket for the Challenger Cup, May 3rd as a curtain raiser to the D1A Championship. Scoreline today, 36 in favor of GCU over Utah State, number 3. Coach Sean O'Leary, Aaron Schramm, and Brent Weber got to be happy with the way the boys have played today. The ball's been moving greatly, but Utah State's had a few opportunities, Jesse, to knock on the door, and we'll see what they do in the second half. See what adjustments both coaches have made.
Yeah, they really have. Just haven't been able to break through, and GCU with a dominating first half performance.
Okay, so folks, we'll try to pick up the subs as we acknowledge them. I do see number 21. On for GCU. That looks like Hunter Finlay. And I see Brad Kissinger, number 16, came on. Both Texas products.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, definitely Hunter Finlay, number 19, out of Houston, Texas, and Brad Kissinger out of Salina, Texas, on for the GCU Lopes. I apologize if there's other subs. We do have a penalty to Utah State here to start the second half.
Henry down.
And a nice run there from the junior Austin Clark. Really doing a nice job breaking through the midfield line for Utah State.
Yep, so big prop number 1, Franco Telechea, who has a big boot, is attempting about a 40-meter penalty kick for Utah State. Give them a little momentum starting the second half.
And for GCU, 4 players scoring tries in the first half. Nigel Johnson, Vince McKeefrey, Ben Saunders, and Brennan Boyle.
Yeah, Brennan got 2, and Jackson Gray actually has 1. That brings us to 36-3 with a couple converted kicks there. Only 1 penalty kick for, we'll make that 2. They slotted that 1 to start the second half, so that brings the score 36 GCU to 6 for Utah State. Prop Franco Telechea with both of the penalty kicks for Utah State. Nice high kick by Luke Neely. Handled greatly by Aiden Cassanon into the support runner, Jackson Gray. There's Brad Kissinger out of Salina, Texas, with a hard charge run by the forward. Nice little wrap around by Ben Saunders. Little offload by Charlie Marshall. Stolen by Utah State. That's the ever-present Franco Telechea with the ball. We'll see if Utah can continue their momentum here. Nice defense by number 15, Jackson Gray. Utah State tests some fringes with some forwards. There is a bit of space out there. The ball is dropped, but it dropped backwards. Ref says play on. Utah State maintains possession. Number 8, Jacob Burton out of Holiday, Utah, with a couple-meter run.
And an impressive half, like we mentioned, from GCU. If you're head coach Sean O'Leary, what's the message coming into the second half? You know you have a big lead, but trying to stay locked in and focused.
I think it's 2 things. Maintain possession in your rucks. Maintain possession when you're on attack. And stay very connected on defense. When you really see GCU's line there, there's 3-4 meter gaps between every player perfect. They're coming up together, and they're coming up strong, and that's line speed. So really nice job by GCU on both attack and defense here. But again, Utah State starts off the second half with a nice 40-meter penalty kick by prop Franco Telechea. So, okay, so we have throw-in duties have changed. So Charlie Marshall now throwing in the line out instead of Danny Callahan. I believe Brad Kissinger came on for Danny Callahan, DC as we call him.
On 1.
Nice little diamond pattern pod for GCU. With Hunter Finlay with the crash from high school teammate Ben Saunders. On the far wing, it looks like Lewis Case has come on for Marcus Terzoli. Lewis Case, number 23, Oceanside, California product.
And if you're head coach for Utah State, Matt Tualamalii, what are some adjustments you'd like to see from Utah State here in the second half?
I think it's ball possession and support. Get some momentum going. They're doing a really good job of it right now. You can see a 30-meter run, and they're working it wide again. You know, we did start to see a little bit of kicking. Tough defense there by number 12, Ben Saunders, on number 13, Sam Albertson. I believe they're calling it a knock-on by Ben Saunders. He must have had quick possession there, and it will be a scrum to Utah State. Utah State was the ball carrier. Ben came up hard on defense, but the ref saw it differently. So we will have a scrum to Utah State with number 9, Calvin Wilson, with a throw-in, with a put-in.
Once again, the winner of this game heading to the Challengers Cup final in 2 weeks in Indianapolis, and will face the other semifinal winner between Mary Washington and Ohio State.
Yeah, it's very, very, very. The Challenger Cup is the inaugural season of the Challenger Cup, if you will. Again, the two semifinalists that win today will go to the final in Indianapolis as a curtain raiser for the D1A championship of the Collegiate Rugby Association of America. Has done a nice job putting together not only the Challenger Cup but the D1A championship weekend. Score sits 36-6 in favor of GCU. We're about 7 minutes into the second half.
And really, I think going along with that, just a great opportunity for either of these teams to be able to go to Indianapolis and compete in the final. This is the farthest that GCU men's rugby has gotten in their history, so I think it's been a really cool demonstration of skill so far today.
No, yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, and one of the bigger crowds we've had at GCU for rugby this year. A lot of parents in town, a lot of students came out. Last week before finals, everybody's taking a break from their studies. So GCU wins the scrum. Out to Jackson Gray, drifts wide left. Takes on the defender. Nice clear and clamp by Lewis Case and I believe Luke Neely over there on the far side. GCU does have some momentum.
Yeah.
Quick ball out to that Ben Saunders, the Charlie Marshall crash ball. GCU continues to maintain possession. Charlie Marshall with a nice little scamper again. Picks up a couple meters. There are numbers wide left, but good defense by Utah State on the crash ball by Luke Neely. Aiden Casson picks up Luke's ball on the floor to Jackson Gray. Nifty little chip ahead, fielded well by, I believe that's number 11, Jake Anderson. That's number 14, Fisher Anderson. I apologize, with the white stockings on his legs today. Counterattack by Ben Saunders. He sees some space. Spins it wide, goes straight into touch. It'll be a line out to Utah State.
First side, it's going to be a line out.
Good pace so far in the second half. GCU holding that 36-6 lead as they look to advance. And really, I think what the key's been for GCU is their line defense. It's been very strong this afternoon, and it's giving Utah State all kinds of problems.
I was trying to get us a score, folks, from the Ohio State Mary Washington game. However, the live stream appears to be down per a text. If we happen to come across that score, we will bring it to you. In the interim, it'll be a free kick penalty, short arm penalty to GCU.
It's going to be a kick.
At about 35-meter line. Charlie Marshall with a tap and go. trying to narrow that Utah State defense. Got another crash ball to big number 8, Vince McKeefery. Leicester City, UK product. There will be a knock on against GCU. Scrum center to Utah State. We're 10 minutes into the second half. 30 minutes remain. Score line 36 GCU. 6 points to Utah State.
Yeah, we've really seen McKeefery use his size and physical ability.
A lot of nice pace and a really nice line run by Vince there. Good defense by Utah State though, causing the knock on. So it'll be a scrum center to Utah State just outside their 22. They do have the back split, 3 on each side. Referee Ben Cohen does not like the stability of that scrum. We will have another restart.
As we're now under 29 minutes left in the second half. Beautiful day here at Grand Canyon University. Great environment for rugby. Definitely the biggest crowd that I've seen here so far in the matches that we've called, which has been awesome.
Yeah, very meaningful game for both teams. In particular, GCU. It's the first time they'll, we were at Houston National Invitationals for a while, or a few years back. West Coast Sevens, we had a good showing there. But this is going to be, if we do get past Utah State today with this 36-6 lead, the team will be heading to Indianapolis in front of what I suspect to be a very big crowd on D1A Championship weekend.
25 went to the med tent.
Number 25, Sam Gathram, just went to the medical tent for Utah State.
Utah State tries to run it out of their 22-meter line. There are numbers out wide. See if GCU can recover on defense. They do. Brendan Boyle slipped, but it was in a fortuitous position there to intercept the pass. Leaving their feet in the ruck to Utah State, so it'll be a penalty to GCU.
Yeah, kind of a funny play from...
Yep, Mutsumi Otaka takes over scrum half duties for number 9 Vance Disney for GCU. Really nice first half by Vance Disney.
As we have
another GCU player down, I believe that's Charlie Marshall. I believe we'll start seeing some pretty aggressive subbing by probably by both sides on a going forward.
And we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with you guys shortly.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. It's where my wife and I have gone for over 10 years, and we trust them with our routine and extensive dental care because they care. Dr. Amber Angel is an Arizona native, born in the town of Miami, and has been practicing in the Valley over 20 years. For general to comprehensive dental services, call 602-788-2008. Located off of Cave Creek Road just north of the 101 in North Phoenix. Angel Dentistry, proud supporters of our young people and proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show. In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
Okay, folks, we are back to the match after a quick injury break, if you will. Number 1 prop, Charlie Marshall. Had a great day by Charlie, a lot of hard running. He is being tended to by the trainers. Coming on for Charlie is number 18, Danny Sanchez, out of Southgate, California.
It's gonna be either a kick or a tap and go. So
Yeah, Charlie's had a
stay a little wide.
really impactful game.
A lot of ball carries by Charlie, a lot of good crash ball, in particular off of Ben Saunders. Ben's been finding Charlie with inside support all day.
Good to see him be able to walk off the field with the trainers, as hopefully he's all right.
Closer and down. Yeah, right there. That's a good. That's a good start.
As suspected, Sean O'Leary, Coach O'Leary for GCU, is making some wholesale subs here, with Charlie Marshall going off and Daniel Sanchez coming on at prop for GCU. Was a penalty kick from GCU, so we will have a GCU line out, and we will see, it'll be number 18, Daniel Sanchez, with the throw-in. 5-man line out for GCU. Cleanly taken by GCU. Little pick and go off the truck and trailer, if you will, off the line out maul. Ben Saunders finds Hunter Finlay in inside support. Again, high school teammates out of West Houston. Ball spun wide. Luke Neely to Jackson Gray. Ref deems the pass forward. It will be a scrum center to Utah State. One pass they would have had, GCU had Luke Neely outside on a 3v2. But it'll end up a scrum to Utah State after the GCU knock-on.
Henry, zoom in on the scrum.
Score, folks, is 36-6 in favor of GCU. We are 15 minutes in the second half. 25 minutes remain. Nice little wrap move, loop, if you will, by Utah State. Number 12.
Just there was perfect.
Tavita Fochetti out of Oakland, California. Nice. The defense remains stout for GCU.
Yeah, we've now been playing in the same kind of area now, Brent, for the last probably 5 or 6 minutes.
Kenny Passion out of Colorado Springs goes for the cherry pick there. He's deemed offsides by ref Ben Cohen.
And GCU is more than happy to continue the pressure as this clock drains.
Again, another tap and go on the penalty. Utah State's trying to create something on the far side. Ball is knocked on by GCU. Ref is playing advantage. That's earlier try scorer Vince McCaffrey, number 8 for GCU, with the try.
What a job from McKeefery, knifing his way through the middle. And he scores the try as GCU now is up 41-6. Another 2-point conversion attempt upcoming for the Lopes, as they've really broken this one open.
Yeah, well, we have a player down. I know it's late in the match, but I will, for all the parents out there, I'll run through the rosters here. We'll do Utah State first. In the props for Utah State, Franco Telechea, and these are the starters, and I'll get into the reserves. And then Noah Asai, hooker Brad Taylor, locks are Tucker Macbeth and Liam Toner. Flankers, Jay Howe, Dean Entz. 8, Jacob Burton. Scrum half, Calvin Wilson. Fly half, Matt Gathram. Centers, Tavita Fochetti, Sam Albertson. Wings, Jake Anderson and Fisher Anderson. And at fullback, Austin Clark. Reserves, Colin So, Justin Keat, Max Barlow, Fisher Jones, Ephraim Reverado, Spencer Richens, Ty English. And I believe I said Sam Gathram's names a couple times. GCU, again, starters to reserves, so the original lineup. Props, Charlie Marshall, Will Strandberg, number 2, hooker Danny Callahan. In the locks, Sean McGilligan, Dylan Mercer. Flanks, Nigel Johnson, Kenny Passion. 8, the ever busy try scorer, Vince McKeefery. Scrum half, Vance Disney. Fly half, Aiden Castanon. Centers, Ben Saunders, Luke Neely. Number 11 on the wing, Marcus Terzoli and Brendan Boyle. On the other wing, Jackson Gray at full. The reserves, Brad Kissinger, Dane Needham, Daniel Sanchez, Hunter Finlay, Gene Kendall, Austin York, Matsumi Ataka, and Lewis Case. Apologize, guys. We've been trying to squeeze those in, but hopefully we got name recognition for all your favorite rugby players, collegiate D1A rugby players.
Yeah. And
so after a bit of a back and forth there, we will have a line out to GCU with Daniel Sanchez with the throw-in. Taken off the top by Dylan Mercer to scrum half Matsumi Otaka. We've got Hunter Finlay on the break. Throws a dummy. Finds Luke Neely on the outside, number 13. Over to Lewis Case, number 23. And he dots it down on the far side. Great ball handling. A great crash line by Hunter Finlay. Over to Luke Neely. Luke Neely shows some patience. Finds Lewis Case. On a longer spin pass, Lewis Case dots it down in the far corner. Well done by all parties involved.
Yeah, great pass there from Neely. Lewis Case finishing it off for GCU as they score another try. And their passing today has been really impressive, especially breaking through the ruck. Really well done.
Okay, so the score sits 48-6 in favor of GCU after that that Lewis Case try. And we'll have Ben Saunders attempting the conversion from the far side. Pretty tough angle. Ball is up. And the conversion is no good. Score remains 48-6 in favor of the Lopes. 20 minutes left in the second half. 20 minutes left in the overall game.
And one thing I wanted to touch on is, as I mentioned on the top of the show, both of these teams really young. For GCU and head coach Sean O'Leary, have to be pleased with how the young players have developed this season. Really impressive season. The chance they hold on to this game to go to the finals, but really touching on some of the freshmen that have really developed, such as Nigel Johnson, Vince McKeefery, Vance Disney, Brendan Boyle. How is their development really elevated this team and talking about their compete level?
Well, really, most of the D1A rugby players do come with some high school experience. A lot of the GCU guys have come with select side experience as well. For example, Ben Saunders playing for the U18s, U20s, and Luke Neely with the U23s. Yep. We'll come back after a short interview with Coach Sean O'Leary.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
20 minutes left of regulation. 48-6 here. All the fans are getting excited. Coach, what have we been seeing? Of course, a little bit of a slow start in the second half, but you really pulled through 20 minutes. How are you able to do that?
Just the guys are humming now. They're just playing good rugby. You know, it's starting to get a little dirty. There's some late hits coming in. I don't like that, but our boys can win both the game and anything else that goes on. So I'm putting all my bench in now when I go back over to the sideline, and we'll go from there.
And what do you like to see from your bench as well? I mean, are those guys to look out for?
They're all playing for spots, so yeah, we got to go.
All playing for spots.
Yeah.
Good luck to
Thanks.
out regulation.
Thank you.
48-6. Sean O'Leary, Tyler Wargo. We'll see you guys.
And we're on 1. All right, guys, get off the field. Get off the field now.
Okay, so we just heard from Coach Sean O'Leary. His GCU Lopes are up 48-6 against Utah State. Looks like they're heading to Indianapolis in a couple weeks to take on the winner of Ohio State or Mary Washington in the 2025 inaugural Challenger Cup final. Curtain raiser for the D1A championship match.
And what an exciting opportunity that would be for GCU. Going to the finals.
Okay, folks, we just heard from Little Birdie just told me that Mary Washington took it to Ohio State today, 70-0. So it looks like it's going to be GCU Lopes against Mary Washington in Indianapolis in 2 weeks, weekend of May 3rd. So we do have a knock-on against Utah State. It will be a scrum center to GCU.
What I was really impressed by GCU this afternoon is they haven't played for almost a month, and you didn't really see any rust out there. Utah State had that early penalty kick, but really I thought GCU did a nice job coming out of the gates, playing hard, and from watching you'd never know that there was that much time off as they looked like things were clicking and everything was running really smooth.
Okay, and as Coach O'Leary said in the interview, he has cleared the bench. We got Dane Needham coming into the front row. Dane Needham, a Yakima, Washington product. Gene Kendall, in from Katy, Texas, high school teammate of both Hunter and Ben Saunders, and Austin York from Windsor, Colorado. Speaking of Gene Kendall, hard run by number 19. Good north-south runner, Gene is. And in particular, very happy for Hunter Finley. He's been battling a shoulder injury. That's going to be a penalty. Players need to get away from this. Getting a bit chippy out there. Player was in the air and was hit. Okay, we'll go to a quick break here. While the refs sort.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack.
All right, folks, this happens sometimes late in the game when the oxygen leaves the brain, so it becomes a little bit chippy out there. It looks like number 12, Ben Saunders, was hit in the air. The referee is conferring with the AR. It is a penalty, currently a penalty to GCU. We'll see if referee Ben Cohen does pull a card here.
Yeah, really just a dangerous play. Anytime you have a player getting hit in the air, they can't control their balance, and it just does not lead to good things.
So it'll be a scrum center to, I apologize, Ben. The referee is bringing the two captains in the middle of the field as well as a player. I believe there will be a card to the offending player on Utah State. We'll get you a number as soon as we have it. It is a yellow card, and it is to number 12, Tavita Facchetti. Fortunately, he caught Ben Saunders in the air there. You cannot play the player in the air. He has to be safely on the ground. So Ben Saunders does have the ball. He is in front of the posts. We'll see what the decision is by GCU. GCU will scrum down, scrum center. About 20 feet, 5 meters out from the Utah State try line. At this point in time, you don't want to see these shenanigans going on. We don't want a red or a yellow resulting in a team that's going to go to Indianapolis to try to play in the next and final round of the Challenger Cup. Cooler heads prevail.
Yeah,
GCU. Always the better.
GCU just looking to wind out the clock and get this one over with. So we have less than 17 to go.
Yep, 16 minutes, 16:48 on the clock. Again, a 48-6. Up to this point, a very convincing margin by GCU. Great attacking position, scrum center. They do opt to go left. Eden Kessnot, and again, we have another high tackle on Ben Saunders. And this is, I believe, it's Lewis Case may have found the corner of the try zone, but he's held up by Utah State's
That was
defense.
really close. It looked like he might have got in.
Yeah. Ref had a advantage being played on the earlier penalty. Still has advantage going. GCU, that's Brad Kissinger, trying to get across that try line on a little pick and go tractor trailer, if you will. Nice little crash ball there by number 13. We do have some players wrapping for folding, if you will, for GCU. That's Gene Kendall. Again, a good big north-south runner, and Gene Kendall is in for the try. So reserve, number 19, Gene Kendall. That's another one down for GCU.
Just a great individual effort there. As heard it was Finley, the sophomore. But yeah, Kendall dragging Utah State defenders across the try line. Which is an amazing individual effort. Having that strength and balance.
Yeah, that was Gene Kendall. Gene Kendall's wearing number. We'll get our numbers straight here, folks. Apologize.
Ben Saunders adds 2-point conversion as GCU is now up 55-6. 15 minutes left here in the second half.
Yeah, that's Gene Kendall wearing number 19. And the try score. So score is 55-6. Conversion was good for GCU. About 14 minutes left in the match. Restart by Utah State. Well struck.
Henry, oh my gosh. Are you even looking at your camera? It's so tilted.
And the ruck win goes to Utah State.
Improve the balance again.
And then we have an offsides. Looks like an offsides against Brad Kissinger. Might have been against one of the forwards in the back line for GCU. Penalty kick to Utah State. So Utah State does have an opportunity here, probably about 10 meters out from GCU's try line.
Yeah, this is the first time they've been in the Lopes territory in the second half.
Dotting one down here for Utah State will make the drive home a little bit better, or the flight home, I should say. Okay, so the lineout was disrupted by GCU with the first knock on. It'll be a scrum to Utah State.
And it's going to be a scrum, guys. Follow them.
The Lopes have kept their foot on the gas in the second half. Very easy to get in that mindset of kind of letting the game go by and letting things happen, but they've done a nice job of staying focused and locked in, keeping the pressure on Utah State and not letting up.
Slowly zoom in a little bit.
Inside 13 minutes left in the match. GCU up convincingly 55-6 over Utah State. Again, appear to be heading to Indianapolis in 2 weeks to take on Mary Washington.
And that'll be a great game. As we heard, Mary Washington blanking Ohio State. Really good test for GCU and a cool opportunity. Head down to Indianapolis, play for the Challenger Cup final.
Ben Saunders with a big touch finder off the penalty. We will have a line out to GCU just inside the midline. Okay, that line out is stolen by Utah State right at the midline. Utah State does wing the ruck. A couple missed passes outside. Number 6, Jay Howe with a tough run. Utah State.
Wow.
Blocked by number 19, Gene Kendall, with the orange slippers. Out to Brendan Boyle. He's got a couple on the day. And Brendan Boyle with his third try.
And ladies and gentlemen, that play all starts with Gene Kendall getting that block, passing it to Boyle. As we'll see a replay.
Brendan Boyle with the hat trick on the day. Looks like he's cramping up a bit, but he did dot it down. He's back on his feet, and we will have Ben Saunders attempting the conversion kick from the near sideline. Number 12, Ben Saunders.
And that, as they say, is defense leading to offense. GCU up 60-6. The 2-point conversion from Saunders on the way.
Ben Saunders' conversion kick is up. It appears to be wide left. It is. And we're just inside 10 minutes left. 9 minutes, 49 seconds left in the second half and in the match. Commanding lead by GCU, 60 over 6 points for Utah State.
Let's get that. We'll talk about it once the play starts.
So we'll have a Utah State restart.
There is a reason.
Just over 9 minutes left in the match. Kicks fielded cleanly by Lewis Case. Fancy footwork on the far side. Lewis does find some space. Little chip ahead. Fielded by Utah State.
Penalty.
And I believe it'll be a long arm penalty. Playing the man without the ball on the far side. Quick tap and go by Hunter Finley to Gene Kendall. To Ben Saunders. Wide pass to Brendan Boyle. Can he get his fourth? Referee does blow the whistle. There is a stoppage when a Utah State player down.
Keep it there.
Appears to be just a cramp.
Follow GCU.
And we're going to take a short break.
So
We'll be back soon.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Okay, folks, we have a penalty to GCU. They opt to go to a design play. Met hard by Utah State with a gain of 0 meters on that play. You seem to be working hard. There's a hard crash ball by West Houston product, Hunter Finley. Some nice fancy ball work by
You were asking about that.
the backs on the far side. That was Lewis Case dotting it down, but he might have gone into touch. Nope, that is Lewis Case with yet another GCU try.
Yeah, so it's got to be, you see the plus signs on this far side? It's got to be along that.
Well managed there for GCU, scoring yet.
Yeah, some
another
really
try.
quick ball movement, tips balls, if you will, in that 5-meter channel on the far side with Lewis Case dotting down his second try. So we've got multiple try scores on the day. Lewis Case has a couple, Gene Kendall with a couple, Brendan Boyle with 3.
But it's on that far line.
Vince McKeefery with a couple, Nigel Johnson, Ben Saunders, Jackson Gray. Some really creative ball play and quick ball movement by Grand Canyon.
Yeah, GCU spreading the wealth of tries across the team.
So Ben Saunders is literally on the touchline on the far side with a very difficult kick. 65-6 in favor of GCU before the conversion. The ball is up, and it just misses. Nice line drive attempt. Score remains 65-6 GCU, just inside 7 minutes in the match, folks.
Yeah, the Lopes have really poured it on in the second half.
And much like Hunter Finley, Lewis Case coming off of a couple month or two of injuries. Good to see him back on the field and healthy. Ball's kicked deep, bounces around a bit, collected by Ben Saunders, and it goes straight into touch. So we'll have a GCU. I believe the Utah State player played the ball in the air. We'll see whose line out it is. I believe the ball was played in the air by the Utah State player, and this will be a GCU line out. I correct myself. The AR is giving the line out to Utah State, so it'll be a Utah State throw in. I could not see what occurred over there. It looked like it was a attempted short throw in to the Utah State player standing right on the 5-meter line. Somebody was taken into touch.
And for Grand Canyon University, Brent, how do you take this performance and replicate it almost heading into the final in Indianapolis?
Great question. I think we'll attempt to get video on the Mary Washington team for one, see what they brought to the party against Ohio State. There has been some opportunities, particularly on penalties against GCU. We need to clean up. A lot of good ball movement, a lot of great rucking going on by GCU today. We won our possession and we recycled well. We used the ball well in support and scored some pretty dynamic, entertaining tries today for a very large home crowd. And most importantly, we got 25 guys that got a lot of playing time for GCU. Now that said, we do have 2 weeks of practice leading up to the May 3rd weekend, and spots are still to be earned by the GCU Lopes.
For sure, and it's always nice winning at home in front of a crowd like this and everyone who's come out to support. Very nice feeling.
Yeah, and just a beautiful pitch today in the Valley of the Sun. Just ideal playing conditions, both facilities-wise and weather-wise. We'll have a penalty against GCU to Utah State right at the 4-minute mark.
Henry, up a little bit. 2, follow him with the ball.
Score is 65-6. Favor of GCU. Obviously, both teams, GCU and Mary Washington, I haven't seen the match for Mary Washington, but obviously both can score points. That'll be I believe, a knock-on against Utah State. It'll be a scrum to GCU. No, the ref was playing advantage to Utah State, and he says play on. So Utah State's now right at the 10-meter line for GCU. Tough stiff arm by number 12, Tavita Facchetti, the hard-running center. Cooler heads need to prevail here in the last couple minutes of this match.
Less than 3 minutes left, the second half.
That was Brad Kissinger with a nice tackle for GCU. Ball seems to be stuck there at the 22-meter line.
You're right, cool heads do need to prevail. We've already seen a couple attempted
Set a couple
shoves.
yellows, both against Utah State. GCU cannot afford a card at this point in the season with one match left. Nice little tips pass by Utah State. Trying to work the ball wide. They do have numbers. Great try-saving tackle by Ben Saunders. Utah State does play the ball back into play. Then it goes into touch. It will be a GCU line out.
Yeah, great tackle from
about
Saunders.
about 10 meters out, right about where Ben Saunders had that try-saving tackle.
And that's what it's been for Utah State. Every time they've had a chance to potentially put a try on the board, it seems GCU has come up with a saving tackle.
Looks like the last Utah State sub is coming onto the pitch. Appears to be Efren Reverado out of Salt Lake City, Utah, once we confirm the number. Yeah, it is number 21, Efren Reverado. So referee is calling for a do-over on the line out. GCU line out, deep inside their territory. Clock is now inside a minute, at least the clock on the scoreboard. Hard crash ball by Hunter Finley. Good defense by Utah State. Here's Luke Neely kicking a touch from behind the 22. Kicks it deep into touch.
And that looks like, from the clock on the scoreboard, that'll wrap things up here at Grand Canyon University.
Yeah, there may be a few minutes left on the referee's clock, but with the score line being a 59-point difference. Aiden Casnon, a little crash ball to Gene Kendall. Matsumi Otaka with quick ball to Ben Saunders. Behind the players, cleaned up by Lewis Case. High tackle around the head. Time is out. We're on referee time right now. Injury time. We may have this is a penalty kick to touch, but he may tap and go here. Eat little bit more clock. Now if they're opting to kick the penalty kick into touch, it will be a GCU line out just inside Utah territory. Long throw to Dane Needham, Yakima Washington product. Out to the backs. Nice little diamond pod. Working it right. Back out to Lewis Case. Does he have another try in him? He does. He fends off two Utah State players, and Lewis Case gets his, I believe, third try on the day. So 2 hat tricks for the GCU Lopes. One for Vince McKeefery, one for Lewis Case, and a third for Brennan Boyle.
Man, what a sequence of passing from the Lopes there down the line. Yeah, finishing it off. That was incredible to watch.
Maybe they heard Mary Washington put up 70 on Ohio State and they had to match the number. That should be time, folks. We'll have Ben Saunders take a kick from the far side. We will have a GCU against Mary Washington 2025 Challenger Cup final in Indianapolis in a couple weeks. Look forward to that match.
Yeah, an exciting time for these players heading to Indianapolis, and a couple weeks more of preparation for the big test.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of film to watch for both sides. We'll take the learnings, take the wins. And that is it, folks. Signing off from Phoenix, Arizona, and the Grand Canyon University campus. My name's Brent Weber. In the booth with me was Jesse Davis today. We'd like to thank you for joining us for this Collegiate Rugby Association of America's Challenger 2025 Challenger Cup.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Brent, it's been a pleasure calling this game with you. And
no doubt, Jesse, we'll see what the Lopes can do in a couple weeks.
We shall.
We're signing off, folks. Thanks for joining us today.